We've reached the end. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. Matthew 29:19-20. Okay, sorry to confuse you for a second. We're not actually done. However, for today's reading, we have to start at the end. We have to start at that commission to go and make disciples to understand where we are right now. Matthew's gospel is distinctive in the way that it rallies first Jesus' disciples and thereby us to understand a Jesus follower's way of life. Jesus' actions throughout Matthew give us models for what it would mean for us to turn around and be disciples. And in our reading today, we start with chapter 9 offering some foreshadowing that soon Jesus is not going to be around to share the good news of God's kingdom. So he gives the authority to the disciples to continue ministry. And in this section of Matthew that really kickstarts the reality of disciples doing what Jesus won't be around to do, up until now, we know that the disciples have accompanied Jesus. They've trusted him enough to leave everything and follow him. They've witnessed Jesus putting his ministry into action by things like calming the sea and healing the bleeding woman. But now it's time for them, and for us, the author of Matthew would argue, to figure out what it means to actually go. So we get some instructions from Jesus and his disciples. And as you read this today, you'll notice that chapter 10 also has some sections that are kind of foreboding. See, I am sending you out like sheep in the midst of wolves. Beware of them, for they will hand you over and flog you, and you will be dragged before kings because of me. Yikes. Those who find their life will lose it, we read later on, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. This message of encountering persecution and basically being guaranteed hardships and loss as we tell others about Jesus, it makes for a pretty terrible marketing campaign. And yet, when we put this in the context of real life in a community, one that's filled with people who have a wide variety of backgrounds and opinions and values, if we're honest with ourselves, any kind of community life takes intentionality and effort. It's no different with a community of Jesus followers. These verses remind us being a disciple of Jesus isn't easy. There's no opportune time to go out and spread the good news about Jesus. There are no supplies that guarantee you'll be able to tell about Jesus more effectively. There's no amount of planning that you could do that would truly prepare you for who or what you'll encounter. So we have to ask, what does it take? I wonder if it takes trust. Trust that God's Spirit will guide us. Trust that disruptions are normal. And trust that even when it's the most difficult thing we could imagine doing, it's worth it for that good news. Too often, we think we have to wait for our faith to be at a perfect place in order for us to start telling people about Jesus. But here, Matthew reminds us that there is no such place. So, let's go. Here are today's questions for you. Number 1, how do you understand the specific instructions that Jesus gives the disciples and thereby us? And number 2, what does get in the way of us telling people about Jesus?